Hello, good afternoon, Sir David Porter. How are you?
Hello, hello. Doing very well. I'm David Porter with the Porter Brothers, Bruce and David. We're out here working it. How are you, Bruce?
Doing great, man. Over here on this side of the pond,
Yeah,
as we like to say. How is Ireland?
man, we had so much wind. It's like gusts going around 30, 40 miles an hour, some trees down, a little bit of a windstorm. I guess we're on the island here and maybe it's rather normal, but yeah, some cool icy weather, but not in the freezing temperatures today. So, like I
Always
said,
wet though, right? Kind of like,
it's it's
or is
it's
it
wet.
wet a
It
lot?
does.
Kind of like London.
Yes, exactly. It'll rain several times throughout the day. It doesn't slow them down a step at all. And actually, I think it adds to their energy. You get that nice boost from the cold, and you feel good.
They do have a lot of energy, don't they?
Oh man, they are one rambunctious group. Yeah, it's a good
The,
time.
the Irish want to welcome our watchers on TV in Texas and Louisiana. We are on Smart Money Culture TV in Houston, in Beaumont, in College Station, in Corpus Christi, and of course Lake Charles, Louisiana. Always a pleasure to have you guys join us. We've just started doing this afternoon show as well, and we're having a lot of fun with it. So Porter Brothers here, and if you caught the beginning one uh, in the 6 a.m. or the 5 a.m., that is awesome as well. So I'll tell you, the news cycle has not slowed down. We have of course Elon Musk is in Auschwitz. Ben something, whatever his last name is, and they're touring the Auschwitz camps. And of course, you have everybody talking about all that stuff here in the U.S. Here in what's happening here, we have Trump just with this absolutely commanding lead across everything. I mean, just dominating the landscape here.
I mean, you can't expect anything else.
You can't expect anything else, he says. It's true. The guy is just a dominating force in U.S. politics as well as world politics, but here in the U.S. especially, he's eyeing this New Hampshire. He's eyeing New Hampshire. I think a big win over there. Let's see here, New Hampshire primary. This is coming up tomorrow. Republican Party events. Looks like it's starting tomorrow. It's the final day before the New Hampshire primary. Let me just pull this up here. So, of course, we had it's the final day before the New Hampshire primary. They're going. The interesting part for me will be to see how many Democrats come in and vote for Nikki Haley,
Yeah, I bet, man.
because
I mean,
she has zero support
well,
among
yeah,
the Republican voters.
yep,
Really,
right up there with zero.
it's right up there with zero. Democratic candidates. Let me just see here. Haley must win or come close to second in New Hampshire. So she already has a donor event in New York right after this. So I think they're going to stack it as much as they can. Obviously, Trump's going to win. The fact that we're even talking about her is pretty ridiculous. Let's see here. A Republican donor slated to co-host a January 30 fundraiser for Nikki Haley's presidential campaign said he's hopeful independents and people who switch their party affiliation in New Hampshire will turn out for the former South Carolina governor in Tuesday's primary. But he acknowledges that her campaign has a dim future if Haley doesn't have a strong showing in the Granite State. She has to win or come in a close second, or I don't see how she moves forward. Levine, a New York-based lawyer, told CNN. I'm reading this on Monday.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a real close one, right? A close second. I don't know what you term as close.
It's gonna be a close one. Who is second? I mean, I don't even know. There's pretty much. I guess there's a couple of guys that are still maybe on there. Supposedly. Pretty much a done deal, though. You have to kind of you have to assume here. Let me just go back here. Let's see. So there is a way you can come in as an independent or as a crossover. You can change your party affiliation and vote on the day of the event. So, pretty funny shenanigans that we have going on there. As well, now Trump's the fraud case got moved. This isn't it. Let me see here.
Which fraud case is this?
I don't know, man. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, they just seem to be going after him as much as possible here.
Yeah, that's the tactic. Very political tactic.
Lawfare. It's lawfare.
Lawfare.
That's what they're calling it. Lawfare. Let's see here. That's an old one. Anyway, let me just look in Google here real quick because I just saw this pop up. And if it's fresh, I want to talk about it. If not, I want to move on.
Right.
Ooze. All right. Anyway, we have, of course, the World Economic Forum is continuing to do their thing that we have over there. Here's Elon, and I guess I'll get to that in a minute. Here, let's check out Elon. So this is Elon, and now you see him. He's over there in Auschwitz, so they're getting all this stuff here.
Now
this is very low, so I have to turn it up.
It's difficult to get to perfect truth, and sometimes people have different interpretations of truth. But one can always aspire to be as accurate as possible and to minimize the error between what is being said and reality. Relentless pursuit of the truth is the goal with X, and allowing people to say what they want to say, even if it's controversial, provided that it does not break the law. I think that's the right thing to do.
He thinks that's the right thing to do. Of course, we all know that's the right thing to do. Hats off to this guy for really changing the game, right? Changing the game, bringing free speech. I can't believe that we let our free speech be taken by these people.
Could you believe it?
No.
I like what Elon said. One of his latest slogans that where news happens first is on X, and it's true. Truth. Yeah, I used to go there for news, and then when they started doing all the stuff, the silencing stuff, then it started getting a little bit harder. But now it's coming back.
It was coming back. It was harder, right? It was harder to deal with. So here he is as well. He's same event here. They're doing obviously an event there in I guess the Auschwitz area.
For newspapers in America, there are about 5 editors that decide what gets put on the front page, or what to focus on or what not to focus on, and most of the other papers just copy them essentially. So, but is that really what we want? Do we want just a handful of people deciding what they think is important, or should it be that the people decide what's important? And I think it should be sort of an organic thing where the people decide what's important and what to focus on, not just a handful of editors. They don't like the fact that this power has been taken away from them, but I think it should be.
I want to go back to something that you said a little bit earlier, talking about the idea that on a moral level, there's nothing that suggests that simple weakness is itself virtue. That a weak person can be virtuous, but doesn't necessarily mean that they are a powerful person. Can be, the victimizer, but doesn't necessarily mean that they are.
Short clip here. I'll just let it play out.
forward, particularly to what's going on in Israel right now, has been, in my opinion, entirely pernicious and wrong. There's this idea that because Israel is a powerful, militarily sophisticated country.
Whatever. All right. So anyway, the important part about that clip was really that, 5 people used to choose. 5 people were choosing the news. The 5 editors, basically families or whatever you want to call them, were choosing the news that we were getting, what they decided was important for the longest time. And now here we are in a situation where we are the media, and that's been a movement that's been happening. It's something that we've taken on, we've grabbed it by the horns with Global Boost, and we're building the decentralized network to hold and to store the media, to store the history of what is going on here, and to carry the banner that Elon has started. It's free speech. I mean, I think it was actually another post I put up. I use my Twitter. I'm Networks Manager on Twitter. You can always find a lot of good information there. There's both sides. There's a lot of people still on both sides that believe that we should censor information. And it's not just on one side or the other side. Here, I'll bring up this infographic here that I posted. It's not just one side or the other side. And so why do so many people from both sides want to hide information from the public? Democrats have become much more supportive than Republicans of the government restricting false information online. And false is one of those things, it's like false. It's false. Who decides it's false? That's where you really get into the stuff. But you can see here really an astounding number from both sides support the U.S. government taking steps to restrict false, which I'm going to take out of there, to restrict information online, even if it limits freedom of information. I mean, a massive amount, man. We're talking like way over, 30%, or at least we have a mean there on 30% on the Republicans and well over, 50% really over on the left side. That is astounding to me.
Yeah, it just shows what a uniparty it's become. And it's probably shouldn't be such a uniparty. You start to lose things like your free speech and your information that you have access to when there is one party controlling the aspect.
Yes, people, they need to really kind of wake up to the fact that we need to be in control of the information. We need to be in control. People need to decide for themselves what is important, what isn't important, and then make their decisions from there. Otherwise, we will not have a good situation. That is for absolute sure. So interesting. Let's talk a little bit about the markets. Of course, we have, as I mentioned, gold has slid a little bit. It kind of has been going back and forth. 2024. Here you see here, and it continues on this move. We go to 5 months, it's up, but it is a great hedge on inflation. But right now, it feels like with the paper, they're really keeping this down. Now, I like to talk about this, the Asian markets tab here on CNBC that I really like. There's something that our friend Matt brought up this morning, and that was this HSI. This is the Hong Kong exchange under 15,000, and it closed under 15,000. So that is something else. And of course, you have the Shanghai composite as well that was down nearly as much. Interesting, right over here, we have oil is up about 2%. Can really just continues this. Is bullish. Oil is bullish right now. Natural gas just taking a dive. One of our watchers commented this morning, got wiped out. He must have been in a long position on natural gas. and it wiped out his position. It went so low that it wiped out the position. Natural gas really sliding a lot there.
Wow.
Yep. Of course, we have Global Boost. If you go to CoinGecko, that will put you on the different sites that you need here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about more of that in a bit. But okay, if we cruise on over here, Bitcoin, you can see is down on the 24-hour about 1.5 points. Ethereum down about 4 points. It's across the board. We're pretty down. Someone just mentioned the Doge, the doggy coin. I clicked that by accident. I always called it the doggy. Doggy is still down. That's why I wanted to look. It is still down on the day. Of course, it is looking better on the week. Really strong coin. Of course, it has Elon Musk loves the Doge coin. He loves the doggy coin. Of course, that plays into it. Some say he is a holder of like a third of the supply. I'm not so sure about that, but it's a fun coin.
You're not so sure about that? I think he spent how much accumulating Doge? I mean, I think.
Yeah, I think there's one wallet and it holds like 420 billion or something like that. I mean, it's like totally classic his style. Okay, I do think he probably owns a third of the
yeah, I think everybody dumped on him.
Yes, I'm sure they did. Very liquid markets though on the doggy coin, on the Doge coin. I still call it the doggy coin. Supposed to hit $5. I don't know. I mean, hitting $1 I think would be nice. RF. I'm not sure if it's gonna hit 5 or not. Maybe one day. Of course, you have. Let's look at XRP. XRP is one of our favorites to look at here. XRP. XRP is bleeding everybody out, in my opinion. They have very professional traders that trade this, and they'll pop it, I think. The thing about XRP a lot of these ones, Ethereum, everything else, is these are basically token type of coins. So they can be frozen by a centralized person or people or whoever they are. So part of the reason why Bitcoin went from pennies to 40,000 is because you are unable to freeze, seize, or stop it. And so when you look at these other ones, you go ahead and make your money on them, this and that and the other. But you look at these older coins, Litecoin, Bitcoin, as I mentioned, Global Boost, we're the same. We're a fork. We're in our 10th year of we're a fork of Bitcoin. There's no central authority. There's it just is. We walked away from the project completely a couple of times. So join the decentralized movement. We have our wallets here, of course. We have the exchanges. You can hop on these exchanges, guys, and it's very easy. Probit is a good one. Just load that up before I continue on. There's a decent amount of coins on there, and you can see that's the weekly. Look at the daily, how our charts are looking here. It's a micro cap, a little bit under 1 million right now. Okay, but we've been, and that's at a 3 cents or 3.5, 4 cents, 5 cents in there. We have gone up to $1, $2, so that's can be pretty interesting. So anyway, that's I think something that everybody should look at. You're going to want to diversify, and again, not financial advice and all that other stuff that we are supposed to say. But what we have right now is a situation where the central banks of the world are printing up money at will. And so the reason why we can't control anything in Congress, and the reason why we can't stop what's going on, is that they really control the money supply. And so, and I say this over and over again, but Biden doesn't need Congress's approval to start bombing other countries, because he can just get the central bank to give him the money in order to pay for the bombs and to pay for everything without any worry of how that works. And so that is across the world. I mean, the central banking system has been inserted across the world, and it's a big problem.
Absolutely. When you get to we see it in crypto all the time. When you're able to print the coin, start with the complete supply, and then do the distribution yourself, it causes these types of problems. And the fact that they can freeze your accounts and do all kinds of controlling things and decide and dictate what you're able to do or not do with what you've earned or what you've built, then we run into these authoritarian dictatorships. And of course they drool over power, and they aim for as much power as they can get, because why? They want to have a good time, and they don't care about you at all. They actually probably don't even want to see you around, and they want everything to themselves. They want all the attention, and they don't want anybody to be able to tell them no, which is pretty funny comparatively. And so what we built and thank Mr. Bitcoin and the round table for bringing out the blockchain for us. And now we have a way to take the power back into our hands, and we're able to stand on our own and be our own king, and we can be our own kings.
Well, and that's exactly right. And the thing is that when they talk about doing a run on the bank or this and that, the other, we don't really need a run on the bank. Okay, with the way that we fight back in this monetary revolution is to exchange the excess dollars that you have into gold, into silver, into Bitcoin, into Litecoin, into Global Boost, into these assets that they can't control. And that, in effect, is taking the power back from these people. That's what's happening. You're taking the power by doing that. You're taking the power back from these people. And that's how we fight back. And that's what we've been preaching around the world. That is the peaceful way that we go back. I don't have it pulled up here, but I saw a post today at some point, early morning, I think it was up. And it said that we're never going to be able to get out of this fiat monetary system that we have with them knowing that we're doing it, or with them being able to control it. And so that's how we do it. Doesn't have to be all at once, but you want to diversify yourself and do that. So this is a BlackRock. I think O'Keefe did this. Pretty interesting. And BlackRock, of course, talks about how they manipulate the markets and everything else. This is definitely worth a watch. Check this out.
They don't want to be in the news. They don't want people to talk about them. They don't want to be anywhere on the radar.
Why not?
I don't know, but I suspect it's probably because it's easier to do things when people aren't thinking about it.
All of these financial institutions, they buy politicians. You can take this big ton of money, and then you can start to buy people.
I work for a company called BlackRock.
Meet Serge Varley, a recruiter at BlackRock.
Let me tell you, it's not through who's the president. It's who's controlling the wallet. So it's
And who's that?
the hedge funds, BlackRock, the banks. These guys run campaign financing. Yep, you can buy your candidates. And obviously, we have the system in place. First, there's the senators. And these guys are rich. You got 10 grand, you can buy a senator. I can give you 500K right now. No questions asked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this. It's done.
Does everybody do that? Does BlackRock do that?
It doesn't matter who wins.
You're so right.
They're in my pocket at this point.
Here's Serge Varley on how good war is for BlackRock's business.
Do you have any thoughts on the Ukraine-Russia war?
Yeah, I mean, I do have thoughts.
What are they?
Ukraine is good for business. You know, right? I'll give an example. Russia blows up Ukraine's grain silos. Price of wheat's gonna go mad up. Ukrainian economy is tied very largely to the wheat market, global wheat market. Prices of bread, literally everything goes up and down. It's just fantastic if you're trading. Volatility creates opportunity to make profit. War is real good for business. It's exciting when goes wrong, right? BlackRock manages 20 trillion. It's incomprehensible numbers.
BlackRock Serge Varley says all of this is above a normal person's understanding.
You're like an undercover reporter. I don't know. No people don't give a shit. This is beyond them.
The whole thing of like domination from a concept is it's so interesting.
Hi, I'm James O'Keefe with OMG News. Here we are with our latest story, this time on BlackRock, one of the world's leading asset and investment managers, which owns significant shares of companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Anheuser-Busch, Meta, Target, Procter & Gamble, Comcast, CNN, Fox, and yes, Pfizer, just to name a few. At OMG, we do not shy away from exposing powerful companies, and we're not afraid of powerful people. So we decided to take a look for ourselves at the influence BlackRock has on our politics and the influence they have on our culture. So to do that, what better place to start a hidden camera investigation than into a self-described gatekeeper at BlackRock?
Like, you're kind of like a fucking gatekeeper at BlackRock.
Yeah, I am. I decide people's fates. Every fucking day, I literally decide how somebody's life is going to be shaped.
That's so powerful. I love it.
Yeah, it's I don't know, the whole thing of like domination from a concept is it's so interesting.
Introducing Serge Varley, whose LinkedIn says he's worked for Morgan Stanley, Citadel, and now as a recruiter at BlackRock.
I work for a company called BlackRock.
I'm not actually a finance guy. I know what happens because I'm recruiting people who do these things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the person who headhunts people from other firms. So I would approach you and like, hey, this is a good reason why you should come work for us.
Serge tells us who really runs the world, how they do it, and just how much it costs to buy people, like politicians.
Let me tell you, it's not through who's the president. It's who's controlling the wallet. So it's
And who's that?
the hedge funds, BlackRock, the banks. These guys run campaign financing. Yep, you can buy your candidates.
How so?
All of these financial institutions, they buy politicians.
How do they run the world?
You acquire stuff. You diversify, you acquire, you keep acquiring, you spend whatever you make in acquiring more. And at a certain point, your risk level is super low. Like, imagine you've invested in like 10 different industries, from food to drinks to like technology, right? One of them fails, it doesn't matter. You have 9 others to make you up. Risk management is inherently in just about everything. And in the finance space, it's all about the money you make. You don't let it sit. You keep using it over and over, and
Reinvest.
Yeah, and it exponential growth.
And then once you just own a little bit of everything, is that where the control?
Yeah, you own a little bit of everything, and that little bit of everything gives you so much money on a yearly basis that you can take this big ton of money, and then you can start to buy people.
And obviously, we have the system in place. First, there's the senators, and these guys are cheap. You got 10 grand, you can buy a senator. It doesn't matter who wins.
You're so right.
They're my pocket at this point. I can give you $500K right now, no questions asked.
Yeah.
I didn't do what needs to be done. They're like, yeah, of course.
And
why not?
does like everybody do that? Does BlackRock do that?
The BlackRock recruiter also tells us about how the U.S. government relies on BlackRock for their economic simulation computational power.
Economic simulation. They need to understand the impact of something, right? They're gonna raise the interest rate, for example. It's gonna create this cascade of various factors that people they're not sure what it's gonna do, basically.
And just how fucking great the Ukraine war is for business.
Do you have any thoughts on the Ukraine-Russia war?
Ukraine is good for business. You know, right? We don't want the conflict to end.
Why?
We don't want the conflict to end as a country. The longer this goes on, the weaker Russia is. I'll give an example. Russia blows up Ukraine's grain silos. The price of wheat's gonna go mad up. So what are you gonna do if you're a trading firm? The moment that news hits, within a millisecond, you're gonna pump trades into whoever the wheat suppliers are, into their stocks. Within an hour or two, that stock goes up, and then you sell, and you just made, I don't know, however many mil.
Why would a news channel promote a side in war?
Because it's also good for business too. I mean, what's news? News, right? What does news feed on? They feed on strategy, they feed on up events. That's what people like to watch. So when it happens, it's good business. More viewers. When nothing's happening, watch news. I don't watch news.
They're all pushing like the same talking point. Like you generally, when you look at news, like
it's propaganda. The Ukrainian economy is tied very largely to the wheat market, global wheat market. This is fantastic if you're trading. Volatility creates opportunity to make profits. War is real good for business. It's exciting when goes wrong, right?
Serge also speaks on BlackRock-influenced news and even gave our journalists some tips.
based on everything we know now, when they say to sell, does that mean we should buy?
And so, yeah, it's like, Jim Cramer. If you do exactly the opposite of what he's advising, you actually make money.
Huh?
Yeah. It's called the inverse Cramer. They don't want to be in the news. They don't want people to talk about them. They don't want to be anywhere on the radar.
Why not?
I don't know, but I suspect it's probably because it's easier to do things when people aren't thinking about it.
And when Serge was asked about insider trading, if Larry Fink recently sold $100 million in BlackRock shares, here is what he said.
Larry Fink recently sold $100 million worth of BlackRock.
Wow. Damn, Larry, that's not a good sign. The people who trade and make money, they do this the moment the information is out. And that info is typically disseminated at private levels first before it hits the mainstream. If you want to invest smart, there's a tracker that tracks all politicians and where they have their stocks. Preemptively, if we think the stock price is going to tank, we're going to sell so that we sell it high, it tanks, and we buy back. And we didn't make, but we preserved a few mil.
But perhaps the most remarkable, profound comment by the BlackRock recruiter is the suggestion that nobody is going to care about what he is saying here or confessing here. Because as he says, quote, normal people don't give a shit.
You're like an undercover reporter.
Really? No, don't normal people worry about this stuff?
No, normal people don't give a shit. This is beyond them.
That these types of questions my reporter asked are beyond all of you. The answer is something that you, the people, consumers, the shareholders, couldn't possibly understand. It's been said that it's easier to fool a man than to convince him he's been fooled. There is no question that many Americans are still asleep, who may not want to wake up from their necessary illusions. But we hope and believe by showing these tapes of this BlackRock gatekeeper speaking so plainly on so many topics that not only we wake up people, but also inspire others to come forward on institutions like BlackRock. Oh, and this is just part one. Stay tuned tomorrow for my meeting with Serge Varlay. We also reached out for comment to BlackRock, and here's what they had to say.
So yeah, there you have it, guys. Right? I mean, it's just crazy. And you know, we have basically a conspiracy. I'm not gonna jump into it right now, but these people in these places are run by the same group of people. So I just wanted to pull this up. This is one of the sites you heard him mention. There's sites that track it. So this is capitaltrades.com, and you can watch what the what our congressional leaders, quote unquote leaders, are buying and selling. Okay, and you can see right on here, Tom Carper, how he's doing. Okay, and then so you can check that out. It's capitaltrades.com. There's another one here, track US, or maybe that's the same one. Let me look here. Yeah, here we go. And you can see what they traded. Buy, sell right here. I mean, you guys want the inside track, okay? So that's capital with an O, capitaltrades.com. Make sure to check that out. That looks like some pretty good information, especially if you're playing in the stocks. Capital Trades, they should be, in my opinion, really they shouldn't be able to trade stocks that they have inside knowledge on. I mean, that would be insider trading if they weren't working in the government. If they were working for a corporation, that would be insider trading.
Yeah, it's tough when they violate some but don't violate others. I would think that that's where the problem stipulates from. It's not so much let's just call regular business as usual, but it's the fact that some can and some can't. And also the whole problem is that they're affecting other people's lives with this war is profitable machine. And that's quite disturbing and unfortunate.
Well, that's really the case. I mean, the war has become such a huge business now. I mean, that's like our biggest business here in the U.S. We need to reform the banking system. It's something I talk about quite a bit. I'm going to play this clip as well here. Very interesting.
These are the things that are going on in there. It's like an octopus with arms. It's many, many arms, but you got to go after the head of the octopus in this one. Who is it? The central banks, the IMF, the ECB, the private West central banks, the BIS, the Rothschild banks.
The Federal Reserve really, even though it is not part of the federal government, it is more powerful than the federal government. It's more powerful than the president, the Congress, and the courts.
The problem is that since 1864, we've had a debt-based banking system. All our money is based on government debt. We cannot extinguish government debt without extinguishing our money supply. That's why talk of paying off the national debt without reforming our banking system is an impossibility. That's why the solution does not lie in discussing the size of the national debt, rather it lies in reforming our banking system. There's nothing federal about the Federal Reserve, and there are no reserves. The name is a deception created back before the Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1913 to make Americans think that America's central bank operates in the public interest.
Your voice is powerful. When
Crazy.
Social engagement, it's a force for
Yeah.
I mean, that's really and that's why, guys, we talk about the need to really get out of the U.S. dollar, to make your own bank. I mean, this is not exactly what I'm talking about. It's very similar.
I think we should all create our own bank. I think we need to create our own bank. First, to set up a community trust structure, and then you appoint everybody as a managing director of a trust. You set up a trust account for everybody. Everybody pools all this together. You buy gold and silver with it. You invest it, and you pay dividends back to everybody in the community. That's how we could run an economic system and completely bypass the federal government and the international bankers. Every community could do that. Every church could do that. Every organization could do that. Every family could do that. And watch the wealth start shifting back into.
Watch the wealth start shifting back into the hands of the people.
Your hands again, instead of into the hands of those who really don't care about your wealth. The New World Order has no concern for your money, really. They just want power and control. That's all they want. Because they're scared and insecure.
Jekyll Island started back in 1913, the same year that they started the IRS. Started by three families: the Rothschilds, the Morgans, and the Rockefellers. And I tell people every day, David and I tell every day, hey, who is running the United States? The central bank is running the United States. So you got the Rockefellers, you have the Rothschilds, and you have the Morgans who are running it. Now there's other partners in there at this point as well, but that's who is running the United States. You want to know who's running the United States? That's who's running the United States.
It doesn't have to be that way. You just need enough people to stand up, and then they have to lay down, and we could have the peaceful takeover of your property. It's
guys, the easy way to do this is, of course, to turn your paper money into real assets, into real stuff.
Yeah, it's true. And all the vendors will accept your real stuff. The gold and silver is highly accepted throughout the world. And of course, everybody, like I tell you, when they have gold or silver in their hands and they hold on tight to it. And also you're able to do all of your court needs or your medical needs. You're able to pay in gold and silver as well at those places. Those places are not just this corporate law, but they're operating as banks, and so this money is just as good as their paper debt note that they've distributed.
And they can't inflate it. Okay. And I obviously we do this show every day. We talk all the time. We are, for the record, not financial advisors. Okay. So this is not financial advice. But this is part of the monetary revolution. This is how we take the power back from these people. And right now, the reason that they are able to control us and the reason why we have no power is because you heard the guy in the BlackRock. He said, well, they control the purse. They control the purse strings. Okay. And one way that we're doing this is with at-cost metals. So you should go and you should sign up for at-cost metals. It's free to sign up. If you go to atcostmetals.club, it forwards to atcostmetals.club with the referral clubs with an S. Sign up. It's free. Then you're going to want to fund it so that you can buy your gold and silver and platinum and palladium at cost. And you won't be alone, guys. Even Donald Trump, even the big man himself, accepts gold. Watch this.
Donald Trump says gold is better than cold, hard cash. Donald Trump is renting out the 50th floor of 40 Wall Street for 10 years to APMEX, American Precious Metals Exchange, and accepting 3 32-ounce gold bars as a security deposit.
Well, sadly, we all know what's happening to the dollar. The dollar is going down, and it's not a pretty picture, and it's not being sustained by proper policy and proper thinking. But this was an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity to show people what's happening with the dollar so that we can do something about it.
Michael Haynes, the CEO of APMEX, is the mastermind who hatched this plan.
To us, cash, gold, they're basically the same asset. As we were negotiating this, we went to Mr. Trump, who I think is a very smart guy, and we presented him with some data. And you just heard him speak and say, it didn't take me very long to say, yes, I want the gold instead of the cash.
Are you trying to line up any more deals like this?
Well, as
personal or professional?
Well, as we continue to expand our footprint here in New York, we're planning on taking some more space, hopefully, as our business continues to grow and we expand around the globe. And as we take on more obligations there, perhaps we'll be required to give more gold as a security deposit.
Mr. Trump is also ready to keep doing business in gold.
And I never thought this would happen. This is the first time it's actually happened, and maybe it's going to set a trend.
A trend that would turn gold from just a safe haven investment and into a viable business alternative to the U.S. dollar.
There you have it, guys. Straight from the horse's mouth, the big Donald Trump himself talking about taking gold. And of course, you know, the Donald, as we call him, he is always ahead of the curve, right? And here he is, you know, he did come out a bit against he, of course, as president, he was really pushing the US dollar. But I posted this the other day. Trump has gone full 180 on blockchain, from calling it a scam to leveraging the blockchain to publish NFTs, his NFT collection, and promising to stop centralized banking digital currencies, CBDCs, which you've all heard a lot about. Do you think that he may be the first president to embrace the monetary revolution?
It just seems like a scam.
This is his evolution.
Surprised. You know, with us, it was at 6,000 and much lower. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's the currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said.
What do you think about crypto? Because, you know, New York and Miami is really getting cryptocurrency into their financial system.
Well, I never loved it because I like to have the dollar. I think the currency should be the dollar. So I was never a big fan, but it's building up bigger and bigger, and nobody's doing anything about it. And it's, I know it so well. Look, I want a currency called the dollar. I don't want to have all these others, and that could be an explosion someday, like the likes of which we've never seen. It'll make the big tech explosion look like baby stuff. I think it's a very dangerous thing.
Hello, everyone. This is Donald Trump. Hopefully your favorite president of all time, better than Lincoln, better than Washington, with an important announcement to make. I'm doing my first official Donald J. Trump NFT collection right here and right now. They're called Trump Digital Trading Cards. And tonight I'm also making another promise to protect Americans from government tyranny. As your president, I will never allow the creation of a central bank digital currency. You know about that?
There you have it, guys. The big guy, you know, he evolves. He evolves. Now, keep in mind, NFTs are mostly built on platforms that can be frozen, seized, and all these types of things. So, you know, it's great to make money with these types of things, but you want to be careful. You know, if you are diversifying, you want things like gold, like silver, like the original blockchains that are proof of work. Proof of work is a very good indicator that it's a real blockchain. Because if it is a proof of work blockchain, that means that thousands or millions even of computers around the world know what that, and they have stored what that blockchain is. And when somebody hooks up to that blockchain, it hooks up to the network, and they want to send a bit or coins or whatever you want to call it from one address to another, all of the computers around the world have to agree that those bits, those coins are actually there. And that's the power. That is the power of blockchain. And that's, I think, a part of it that people don't really understand. It is currently impossible to counterfeit these old proof of work coins. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Global Boost. I'm sure there's some other ones as well. They're impossible to seize, impossible to freeze, impossible to counterfeit. You cannot just make one up. And the reason why, the power behind that, is that all of the computers in the world that are on the network have to agree that that coin is yours. And if that coin's not yours, or it doesn't exist in the network, then guess what? It doesn't work. And so that's why, and we don't know who made it. People say it was the NSA. People say it was aliens. No one knows who Satoshi is, right? We forked the coin with Global Boost way back when, but who knows? Right? But it is something very special. It's something new to the world. So you talk about gold, you talk about these types of things. Right now, if we continue the way we are, and we just stay in the US dollars, they're going to keep inflating the dollars. They are going to keep printing up these dollars. They're going to keep the war until everything is taken. I think we're past the point of no return. I think there's the point of them pulling back and not printing more money and trying to do something different is way gone. The plan now is that the poor are going to get poorer, the wealthy are going to get wealthier, and they really want to, cull humanity. They want less population, right? And you see the guys now building bunkers and stuff like that, like you talked about, David.
Yeah, it's something that we need to take into our attention, and we need to prep ourselves for it. So eat healthy, work out, and read some of the history of what the previous presidents have done over the last 100 years, and also follow into the way that they're manipulating our current election, and speak out against it, because that's, like I said, when enough people have had enough and speak out against it, then they're not going to be able to go along with this depopulating plan and this attack on freedom of speech or your right to defend yourself. And also, probably one of the most important rights right now currently is the right to take your government and say that this job that you're doing is not working for our community, and you're able to do something about it as an American.
Well, it's absolutely right, guys. And here's the thing: if we continue the way we're going, then of course things are going to get obviously they're going to keep going in the direction we're going. As well, this was a very interesting video. Why does the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, and UN 2030 oppose farming, especially fiercely independent farmers that want to grow crops, raise livestock, and dairy? Why do they oppose it so strongly? Why do they want everyone to eat bugs and synthetic food from Bill Gates?
Yeah, and why do they try to control a business that they did not, grow up operating, and probably don't understand it on a ground level?
It's crazy. Let's this is just a minute and a half. Let's see what this.
Be much confidence in the American media that huge events can happen in foreign countries, not even that far away, say in Europe. Big events, mass movements that will change the course of history. And pretty much no one in the United States has any idea that any of it is happening, much less why. Something like that is happening right now in Germany, the most powerful country in Europe, our key NATO ally. Farmers there have blocked roads across the country. These are massive protests. If they were happening here, a lot of the United States would shut down. But because they're happening there, most people have no idea that it's going on. Why is it going on exactly? Well, Ava Dingerbroek is there. She's been traveling across Germany with the farmers, and she joins us now for an update on what she is seeing. Ava, thanks so much for joining us. What can you describe what's happening, and then tell us why you think it is?
Hi, Tucker. Yes. Well, thank you for having me, because what you said is correct. A lot of media are absolutely ignoring the massive protests that are going on right now in Germany. As you know, I'm from the Netherlands, and we are neighboring countries to Germany. And I've been very involved in the protests of the farmers over in my home country. And when I heard that the German farmers were going out to protest, I thought to myself, I need to be there. The reason the German farmers are protesting right now is actually because a decision by the German government sparked a lot of anger.
I love that they are spreading poop everywhere. What?
Well, here's the thing. I hope something happens. I talked to my friend over there in Dresden or Dusseldorf or one of those cities. And he goes, yeah, they're protesting. And I go, yeah, but is anything going to happen? And he goes, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I don't know. I think that the days of just protesting and something happened are, I don't know. I think that it's an important thing to do. But I think our protest, guys, is to take control of our money supply. Take the control of the money supply. Stop using the U.S. dollars. And that's the way. I don't know what other play we have that's peaceful.
Yeah, it's the peaceful monetary revolution. It's a great step for mankind, and the fact that we have this cryptocurrency to do it with, and now we're able to send money across the lines here. It's pretty awesome. And man, I mean, you've done a great job these last 10 years, really getting the word out there, Bruce. And I know you've had fun doing it, so that's
That's true. It has been fun. Let's do it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to continue for the next 10 years. That's absolutely true. And we're not going to be able
win, guys.
to let our
We're
foot
win.
off. Yeah, we're not going to be able to let our foot off the gas, and we're going to need to be sharp and keep pushing it forward, and let's have fun doing it.
And let's have fun doing it. Words from my younger brother.
I have
fun
to
doing it.
I have to remind him. All right, so we're done with all the meetings. Like, come on, let's go have fun.
What do you mean? We have more meetings tomorrow. Come on. Let's go, George Carlin, man before his time here.
There's a reason education sucks. It's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets, and they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of young men and even older men, and they feel so defeated, and they say, oh, what can I do? I'm just one little guy. Well, I have news for you. You're a beast, and with your voice, you could do anything.
You can do anything. You can do anything, guys. And together, we're more powerful. And I bring this up because, you know, contrary from a lot of the people that may come and say this, that, and the other, we have a solution. The monetary revolution has been going on for 10 years, over 10 years. It took 5 years for the governments of the world to understand what was even happening.
Yeah, it's true.
But now they get it. And that's why Bitcoin is $40,000 plus, because they don't want you to have it. Okay. Yeah. That's why they've made these. Once they figured it out and they figured out they couldn't stop it, then the next play is to move it so high that you can't afford it. Yeah, Boosty, our global boost BSTY is still cheap. It's still cheap to buy. It's still cheap to sell. It's cheap to trade. It's cheap to transfer. And it is just like Bitcoin. It's impossible to freeze, seize, anything. It's a decentralized cryptocurrency. We've walked away from it a number of times and we come back and it's still going. The darn thing won't die.
Yeah, and once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to utilize. You know, it's simple cut and paste addresses, send and receive. It's typical functioning ledger with the proof of work algorithm that does establish this immutable blockchain. And you can mine it from your computer. We'll go through all that. I mean, we're doing a couple of shows a day here as well, guys, at Cost Metals. You're not going to find a cheaper place to go and buy gold or silver. So I like to do things that we win at. I want to win. I want to save the country. I want a bright future for my kids. I know you do too. Okay. But that's what this is all about. That's why we wake up. That's why I wake up at 5 a.m. and do the first show. And here I am doing the next show. That's why, guys, look, we're at a point in our history where it is more
important to get everybody on the same page than anything else. Outcastmetals.com or Club will forward you at costmetals.club to the club's referral link. Get involved, guys. There has never been a more important time for you to get involved in the monetary revolution. That's how we win. That's how we take the control back from these people. Thanks for tuning in.
That's right. That's how we do it. See you soon.
Cheers.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.